The entire stadium went silent when everyone realized something unexpected had just happened. What started as a highly anticipated matchup between the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Boston Red Sox suddenly became a controversial moment that had fans, players, and analysts questioning what they had just witnessed. The cameras were rolling. Every reaction was captured. And within seconds, a normal baseball situation turned into one of the biggest discussions of the night. At the center of everything was Shohei Ohtani, the player who has become one of the most recognized athletes in the world. The player who attracts attention every time he steps onto the field. The player who can change the outcome of a game with one swing. But this time, the biggest story was not a home run. It was the unexpected confrontation that followed. And the decision made by the umpire immediately changed the atmosphere inside the stadium. Shohei Ohtani has reached a level of popularity where every moment involving him receives enormous attention. Fans across the world follow his performances. Young players look up to him. Opposing teams build entire strategies around trying to slow him down. Because everyone understands the same thing. Ohtani is different. He is not just another superstar. He represents a new era of baseball. His combination of power, skill, and discipline has made him one of the most difficult players to challenge. Every pitcher studies him. Every defense prepares carefully. Every opponent knows that one mistake can become a moment remembered forever. That is why games involving Ohtani often carry extra pressure. The Dodgers and Red Sox entered this matchup knowing the intensity would be high. Both teams have passionate fan bases. Both organizations have a long history of competing at the highest level. And when players with that much talent meet, emotions can rise quickly. The game itself was already filled with tension. The score was close. Every inning mattered. Every defensive decision had importance. The Red Sox were trying to stop the Dodgers from gaining momentum, while Los Angeles was looking for Ohtani to create another unforgettable moment. Then Ohtani stepped into the situation. The crowd reacted immediately. Fans stood. Cameras moved closer. Everyone knew something important could happen. But instead of a highlight moment, the attention quickly shifted toward an unexpected interaction involving Ohtani and the Red Sox defense. The play developed quickly. The players moved into position. A decision was made. And suddenly, the atmosphere changed. Some fans immediately believed the situation was more serious than a normal baseball exchange. Others believed it was simply a competitive moment that happens during the intensity of a major league game. But because Shohei Ohtani was involved, the reaction became much bigger. The cameras captured every angle. Fans watching at home replayed the footage. Analysts began studying the details. And everyone wanted to understand exactly what happened. The Red Sox second baseman became the focus of attention. His reaction, his body language, his actions during the moment. Everything was being examined. That is the reality of modern sports. A single moment can be replayed thousands of times. A single reaction can become a headline. A single decision can create a debate across the entire baseball community. As the situation continued, the umpire immediately stepped in. The official recognized that emotions were increasing and that the situation needed to be controlled before it became something bigger. Players from both teams watched carefully. The dugouts became more alert. Everyone understood that one additional reaction could completely change the situation. The umpire began addressing the players. The stadium waited. And then came the decision that shocked many fans. The Red Sox second baseman was ejected from the game. Immediately, the crowd reacted. Some fans supported the decision. They believed the umpire was protecting the integrity of the game and preventing the situation from escalating. Others disagreed. They believed the punishment was too severe. They argued that the moment was part of the natural emotion of baseball and that players should be allowed to compete with intensity. The debate exploded almost instantly. Social media filled with different opinions. Some Dodgers fans believed Ohtani was being unfairly challenged because opponents know how important he is to the sport. Some Red Sox supporters believed their player was being judged too harshly because the situation was misunderstood. And once again, baseball faced one of its most difficult questions. Where is the line between competition and crossing the line? That question has challenged MLB for years. Because not every emotional moment is intentional. Not every disagreement represents disrespect. Sometimes players simply react under pressure. But the league also understands that player safety and sportsmanship must remain important, especially when the players involved are among the biggest names in baseball. After the ejection, attention immediately turned toward what would happen next. Would MLB review the situation? Would additional punishment follow? Would the players involved explain their side? The cameras had captured the moment. The fans had already created their opinions. But MLB officials needed to look beyond the emotion. They needed to examine the facts. They needed to understand the intent. And they needed to decide whether this was simply a heated baseball moment or something more serious. For Ohtani, the situation became another example of the pressure that comes with being one of baseball's biggest stars. Every interaction is analyzed. Every controversial moment receives attention. Every decision around him becomes a national conversation. But once again, Ohtani showed the same approach fans have come to expect. He stayed calm. He avoided unnecessary conflict. He focused on the game. That reaction only increased the respect many fans already had for him. Because sometimes the strongest response is not an argument. Sometimes the strongest response is control. As the game continued, the biggest question remained unanswered. Was the umpire's decision justified? Did the Red Sox second baseman cross a line? Or did a competitive moment become something much bigger because Shohei Ohtani was involved? The cameras captured the incident. The fans created the debate. But the final answer would come from MLB's review. And the entire baseball world was waiting to see what happened next. The controversy surrounding the Red Sox second baseman's ejection continued long after the game moved forward. What started as one heated moment on the field quickly became a much larger conversation about competition, umpire decisions, and how Major League Baseball handles situations involving its biggest stars. Fans wanted answers. Players wanted clarity. And MLB officials had a difficult decision to make. Because in situations like this, emotions are easy to understand. But decisions cannot be made only from emotion. They must be based on facts. The league began reviewing everything connected to the incident. The available video footage. The umpire's report. The reactions from both teams. The statements from those involved. Every detail mattered. Because MLB needed to determine whether the ejection was simply the result of a heated baseball exchange or whether the situation required further action. That is one of the hardest parts of managing professional sports. A moment can look completely different depending on the perspective. One fan may see aggression. Another fan may see normal competition. One player may feel disrespected. Another player may believe they were simply playing the game. Finding the truth requires looking beyond the immediate reaction. After reviewing the situation, MLB officials emphasized the importance of maintaining control during emotionally intense moments. The league understands that baseball is a passionate sport. Players compete at the highest level, and emotions naturally appear when the pressure is at its highest. But there is also a responsibility to protect the integrity of the game. That is why umpires are placed in difficult positions. They must make decisions instantly. They must control situations before they become bigger. And they must balance fairness with maintaining order. The umpire's decision to eject the Red Sox second baseman created strong reactions from both sides. Some fans believed the call was necessary. They argued that when emotions begin rising, officials must act quickly before a small disagreement becomes a larger confrontation. They believed the umpire made the right decision by preventing the situation from escalating. Other fans disagreed. They believed the ejection was too harsh. They argued that baseball has always included emotional moments and that not every disagreement deserves the strongest punishment. This debate showed why umpiring remains one of the most difficult jobs in sports. Every decision is judged. Every call is analyzed. Every mistake is replayed. And in the modern era of social media, a single moment can become a worldwide discussion within minutes. The Red Sox player involved eventually faced questions about the situation. He explained that the moment came from the intensity of competition and not from a desire to create unnecessary conflict. Like many players, he understood why fans reacted strongly, especially because Shohei Ohtani was involved. When a player of Ohtani's importance becomes part of a controversial moment, the reaction becomes much larger than normal. Ohtani represents more than just one team. He represents millions of fans around the world. He represents the future growth of baseball. He represents the highest level of talent in the sport. That is why every interaction involving him receives additional attention. However, Ohtani's own reaction once again showed why he is respected by teammates, opponents, and fans. He did not allow the situation to become a distraction. He did not turn the moment into a personal battle. He simply returned his focus to baseball. That calm approach has become one of the defining parts of his reputation. Ohtani understands that every opponent is trying to win. He understands that emotional moments will happen, and he understands that controlling his own reaction is often more important than trying to control everyone else. The Dodgers also handled the situation carefully. The team supported their superstar, but understood that the best way forward was to remain focused. A season is built on consistency. A single controversial moment cannot be allowed to control the entire direction of a team. The incident also created a larger discussion about superstar protection in MLB. Some fans believe the league must be especially careful when situations involve players like Ohtani because they are essential to the sport's global popularity. Others believe every player must be treated exactly the same, regardless of fame or reputation. Both arguments have logic, and that is why these situations are so complicated. MLB must protect players, but it must also protect fairness. It must prevent dangerous behavior, but it must also respect the competitive nature of baseball. The biggest lesson from the incident was not simply about one ejection. It was about how everyone responded under pressure. The Red Sox player faced criticism. The umpire faced questions. The Dodgers managed the emotions around their superstar. And Ohtani once again showed the composure that has made him one of the most admired athletes in the world. Because greatness is not only shown when things are going perfectly, it is shown when unexpected problems appear. It is shown when cameras are watching. It is shown when millions of people are waiting for a reaction. And Ohtani continues to prove that he understands those moments. The controversy may have created headlines. The replay may have created debates. The ejection may have become the biggest talking point of the game. But the deeper story was about competition, responsibility, and respect. Baseball will always have emotional moments. Players will always compete fiercely. Fans will always debate difficult decisions. That is part of what makes sports so powerful. The game creates stories that continue long after the final out. And whenever Shohei Ohtani steps onto the field, those stories become even bigger. Because he is not just changing games. He is creating moments that make the entire baseball world stop and pay attention. That is the end of the video. Share your thoughts on whether the umpire made the correct decision. And subscribe for more Shohei Ohtani stories, Dodgers updates, and the biggest moments from Major League Baseball.